Hello everyone, welcome back to the GT Improvement channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about exponents and the order of ops. But before we get started, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, and if this channel is helping you, please share this completely free resource with other service members who might also be looking to improve their GT score. I really appreciate your support. All right, let's get started. So exponents and order of ops, nothing too crazy that you need to know here. You just need to know a couple basics. But before we get into exponents and order of ops, I just wanted to do a real quick integers review. So if you want to go ahead and pause your video and do these 5 questions, and then we'll go over the answers. All right, for number 1, if you remember, when you are subtracting a negative, it's the same thing as adding a positive. So a -3 plus a +2 is going to be -1. If you're -$3 in your bank account and you deposit $2, you're now -$1. All right, now next one is 4 divided by -2. So a positive divided by a negative is going to be a negative result, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. All right, 16 plus -20. So in this case, you could use that rule where the sign of the bigger number is going to be the sign of your answer. So in this case, 20 is the bigger number and 20 is negative. So I know my answer is going to be negative. And then I just have to find the difference between the two, which is going to be 4. So 16 plus -20 is 4. For number 4, a negative plus a negative is always going to give you a negative result, and 35 plus 4 is going to be 39. And then last one, -16 divided by -4. A negative divided by a negative is always going to give you a positive result, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. All right, so let's talk about exponents real fast. And for this, I'm going to have my Flippy book notes. And I know we kind of like took it over with our integers notes, but I just kind of taped in some 3x5 cards to kind of add these notes. All right, so real basics on exponents. So these tiny numbers right here, those are exponents. And this number right here is called the base, but you don't need to really know that. But you do need to know that's an exponent. And what this translates to is how many times you are multiplying this number by itself. So I'm going to be multiplying 5 by itself 3 times. And actually what I learned in teaching this information is it actually starts with a 1. So it translates to 1 times 5 times 5 times 5. So this is not 5 times 3, which is 15. This is 5 times 5, which is 25, and then 25 times 5, which is 125. So that would be your answer. And this one situation, that'll make sense more when we talk about when you have something to the 0 power. All right, so 5 squared is going to be 1 times 5 times 5, which is 25. 5 to the first, that would just be 1 times 5, which is 5. So any number to the first power is just that number. And if you have a number to the 0 power, the answer is not 0, it is always just 1. So that's why it makes sense why there's a 1 in front of there. Okay, so you go ahead and work these ones out on your own. All right, for the first one, it's going to be 1 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 squared is going to be 1 times 2 times 2, which is 4. And then 2 to the first is going to be 1 times 2, which is just 2. And then 2 to the 0 is simply 1. All right, that's all you need to know for exponents. Super basic stuff. Okay, let's talk about order of operations. So we use order of operations when we have a math situation like this that has multiple types of functions going on. So we have addition, we have multiplication, we have an exponent. The order of operations tells us how we are going to tackle a problem like this. So the acronym that we use for order of ops is called PEMDAS. So PEMDAS, the P stands for parentheses. You probably remember this from school. E stands for exponents. M and D stand for multiply and divide. And A and S stand for add and subtract. Okay, two very important things I need to point out. For multiplying and dividing, those are actually ranked equally. They are ranked equally, so you don't necessarily multiply before you divide. They are ranked equally, so whatever comes first, you work left to right. And it's the same thing with add and subtract. They are also ranked equally. You work left to right if you encounter both. All right, so I'll give you an example of this, multiplying and dividing. If you saw 4 divided by 2 times 3, you would not do this 2 times 3 first. You would do this division first. These are ranked equally, so you work in order from left to right. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. If you had an add subtract situation like 8 minus 5 plus 3, you work left to right. So 8 minus 5 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, so now that we know our order of operations, let's go back to this situation here. So the first thing that I'm going to tackle is the parentheses, so whatever's inside here. Now I'm going to work with the exponents first. So this would be 25, and then I still have the 6 times 25 plus 3, and then 7 still remaining. The next thing I'm going to do is multiply. I'm going to multiply 6 times 25. So this is going to break down to 7 plus 6 times 25 is 150 plus 3. And then I add those two together, that's going to be 153. And then 7 plus 153 is 160. All right, so if you encounter lots of different things like this, this is the acronym that you need to remember for that, PEMDAS. Okay, so let's do some practice problems with using order of ops. Oops. Okay, the first problem that I have for you is 3 times 10 plus 8 minus 4 squared. Go ahead and pause your video and then we'll work it out. All right, first thing I'm going to do is deal with this exponent. So I'm going to have 3 times 10 plus 8 minus 4 squared is 16. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply. So that's going to be 30 plus 8 minus 16. And now I just have addition and subtraction left, so I'm going to work left to right. So 30 plus 8 is 38 minus 16. That is going to give you an answer of 22. Okay, next problem. Let's do it over here. Next problem. 4 times -6 divided by 8 plus 3 to the 3rd. Okay, go ahead, pause your video and work that one out. All right, first thing we're going to do is deal with this exponent situation. So that's going to leave me with 4 times -6 divided by 8 plus 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, Next, I'm going to do my multiplying and dividing. So 4 times negative 6 is going to be a negative 24 divided by 8 plus 27. All right, now I'm going to do negative 4 divided by 8, excuse me, negative 24 divided by 8. That is going to give me a negative 3 plus 27. And negative 3 plus 27 gives you a result of 24. All right. Okay, let's do one more. All right, go ahead and try that one. All right, first thing we're going to do is this parentheses. So we're left with 8 divided by 2 parentheses 4. Okay, now we have division and multiplication. The operation that's happening between this 2 and whatever's in the parentheses is multiplying. So 8 divided by 2 is going to be a 4. And then 4 times 4 is 16. All right, so I hope that was pretty helpful for your order of operations and exponents. You're not going to see too much of this kind of stuff on the arithmetic reasoning section, maybe a little bit, but I figured it's handy to know versus not. All right, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video.